Coming up on Look Today, well, in the upcoming weeks, Glens Falls Police will begin wearing body cameras. I've got details. And the Friends of Crandall Library reach a milestone in book sales. More on that coming up. And Angiodynamics in Glens Falls announces a new CEO. I've got those details. And it's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm Jay Hood Jackson and this is Look Today. On tonight's program, I sit down with Valerie Buck. She's the president of ACTT Naturally. And we're joined by Jamie Brannick. She's a board member to discuss their work with thoroughbred horses. And I also sit down with Ben Bernard, Mr. Baseball. He's the owner of the Glens Falls Dragons baseball team. And he's here to talk about the upcoming 2016 season. Plus we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties. But first, we've got these headline stories. In our lead story, well, in the upcoming weeks, the Glens Falls Police Department will be equipped with body cameras. The department's policy will require the cameras to be activated when officers respond to calls such as domestic violence, fights, property disputes, and during traffic stops. Now, the policy is modeled after various other departments around the state. The cameras, by the way, cost about $400 a piece, and the overall budget will range from $20,000 to $25,000. Now, Warren County Sheriff Bud York said his department is currently testing cameras as well, and he hopes to use them by the end of the year. Well, we'll keep you updated on any information we get on this story. In other news, well, the volunteer group called Friends of Crandall Public Library in Glens Falls reached the $500,000 mark in book sales. The group, which is made up of volunteers, sort through donated books 4 times a week and hold book sales 3 times a year. Now, typically, there are about 20,000 books at each sale, and the proceeds of the sales go directly to the library. Well, for example, most recently, the library purchased a device that scans DVDs to verify that they're still in working condition after being returned by patrons. And by the way, the next sale is June 17 to 19. Switching from news to weather. Well, although today was cloudy, the temperature is in the 50s and the snow is melting. For a more detailed look at your weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast. Well, back to the news. Well, Angiodynamics, which is located in Queensbury, has announced that it has a new CEO. The board has appointed James Clemmer for the new position, and it's effective this past Monday. The company is among the area's largest private employers. Clemmer, by the way, most recently served as president of the medical supply section of Covidien. Now, we didn't receive any information as to why the former Angiodynamics CEO, Joseph DeVivio, departed. Well, Angiodynamics, by the way, employs approximately 800 people at its 2 facilities. One's in Glens Falls and one is in Queensbury. Clemmer recently managed operations and increased growth for a $1.8 billion global business. Well, in other news, we've got something a little different for you here. Every day in the morning, Drew and I sit down and we decide what stories we're going to cover. Then Andrew usually goes out, gets some cover footage, and then he comes back with sound on tapes. They're called SOTs. And then that gives us things to go to in our newscast so you can actually see the people and hear them. Well, today was a particularly frustrating day for Andrew, so we decided that we would interview Andrew because he was out covering stories today, and he ended up at Crandall Public Library, the police station in Glens Falls, and also SUNY Adirondack. But unfortunately, nobody was available to talk to him. So here's Andrew himself about his travels throughout the day.
Well, we always strive to get some people talking about what we're covering in the news. So today I was actually going around trying to get a sound on tape from somebody about one of our stories that we're going to cover today, and it just didn't work out. I tried multiple people. I was on the phone. I was talking with Drew here. We just couldn't find anything, unfortunately.
Well, thank you, Andrew, for our sound on tape for today. And if you ever wanted to know that we here at Look Media do things differently, that probably proved it. Up next, I sit down with Valerie Buck. She's a president of ACTT Naturally, and we're joined by Jamie Brannick. She's a board member. They're here to discuss their work with thoroughbred horses. I also sit down with Ben Bernard. He's the owner of the Glens Falls Dragons baseball team, and he's here to talk about the upcoming 2016 season. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000.